These are the stories of the people who enrich our community. Meet Tina Chen, who came to the United States back in 2003 with her mother from China. When she came to Kent, she didn't speak the language or know the culture.
I think the fact that I came here at a young age really helped because I was kind of oblivious to the social norms. When I first came here, I was fairly comfortable with myself, so I had the courage to go up to people and talk to people that I didn't really know.
When Tina lived in China, she was supported and raised by her grandparents, who told her she could be anything she wanted to be.
I grew up with my grandparents because my mom had to work 2 jobs to support me, so my grandparents basically raised me, and they were very, very supportive. My grandma always complimented me, told me that I was compassionate, that I was caring, that I was smart, and she sees so much potential in me. My grandma always told me that I could do anything that I wanted to do with my life. I was a really chunky kid back when I was little. I was really overweight, and even then my grandma always told me that I was pretty and that I would lose the weight someday, and I didn't have any self-esteem problems. I was really confident in myself.
Brought to this country 8 years ago from China, her mother saw great opportunities for her daughter.
We love this country. This country is a very great country. Yeah.
为什么？
Because we have more opportunities. Everybody equal, and they love each other, help each other.
I think this is a common experience for everyone all the kids who's ever been an immigrant. When you come to a new country, and as a kid you immerse in that new social world a lot easier than your parents. So as I get more accustomed to American values and the American ideals of what is fun, what is right, what is good for the world, and these sometimes can be very different from my mom's, then I feel like over time there was a distance that grew between my mom and I in terms of our values and what we wanted out of my life.
Caught between 2 worlds, her old life in China and her new one in Kent, she struggled with her mother and also children who teased her because she was different.
When I first got here, people made fun of me a lot. I was followed home by a couple of kids for a while who would yell at me and tell me to go home and eat my rice. And people would lift up their eyelids and say, "I'm Tina," just really childish things like that. But also on the playground I was ignored. People didn't want to play with me because I didn't speak English and because I dressed weird or funny. And in China, when I went to my elementary school, we always wore uniforms, so we wore the same outfit every day, and that's what I started doing when I was in the United States. But I didn't know that it was socially unacceptable to wear the same outfit 2 days in a row, so I got picked on for that too. Even though I was really confident when I first got here, but after a while of being made fun of for my accent, for the way that I talked, I started talking less, and when I got to the 7th grade I was really shy. But I found a group of kids who accepted me for who I am. I really just started to feel like this country was more my home.
This environment is much better than in China. So I think did you feel difficult when you grew up, the environment here?
I think it was more of just the cultural conflict, the difference in values, and different social norms that was the most difficult. 你跟他说为什么这边生长比在中国生长好？
Because the culture, I think the American culture is much better than in China.
Tina now pursues her higher education at the University of Washington, but the sky's the limit for this ambitious young lady.
There were always moments when I would doubt myself. I remember back in freshman year of high school, I never thought I would be able to get into University of Washington.
Tina continues to do well in school, and in 2011 competed for and won Miss Cornucopia.
My mom always told me, if you don't try, how would you know? And I never thought I could ever win Miss Cornucopia.
My legs are shaking.
I tried and I accomplished both of these things. So even though my mom isn't the most positive person in the world and she can be my harshest critic, I think she played a big role in pushing me to be my best and giving me the motivation to achieve my potentials.
She then went on to compete for Miss Seafair, where she won a scholarship and award for her public speaking in English. Not bad for a gal that didn't even speak English a few years prior.
It's pretty crazy to think that 8 years ago I just got to this country, I didn't speak a word of English and I had a heavy accent, and then 8 years later I'm standing on stage in front of hundreds of people giving a speech. I've always been the kind of person who didn't want to just sit back and sit in self-pity and mourn over whatever that I don't have.
A rising star that came to a new country, learned a new language, embraced a new culture, and calls Kent home.
Hi, my name is Tina Chen.
She even stepped in front of the Kent TV21 cameras to help cover the International Festival, where she interviewed people from many different cultures, but her warmth and compassion helped build bridges.
I feel like I've always had that will and that drive to make friends, to have people like me. So I really worked hard at that, and having a couple of people in the 7th grade who were willing to accept me and embrace my differences, so to say, really helped me bring that drive forward and be more comfortable with being a new country and with myself. I think it was really important that I grew up in a family that told me that I needed to do my best and I could do whatever that I set my mind to do. But not every kid grows up with that kind of message. And I think that really makes a difference. I mean, each one of us are given different abilities, we're given talents, but it's important to understand that. And my grandparents tell me that as well as my mom. It's important to not just use your talents for your own good. It's also important to use your talents to better the world around you. I mean, life is more meaningful that way, period.